He was deployed to the front and married a stranger 2 days before he left. His daughter had never heard her name. When he died, the stranger collected the compensation. Russia simplified marriage rules to encourage soldiers to wed. Russia is sounding the alarm over the Black Widow scam. Someone wants these soldiers never to come home. A war, a marriage, a death, and now, a growing scandal is gripping Russia. Families say vulnerable soldiers are being lured into sham marriages, only for strangers to collect millions in compensation after they die on the battlefield. As the war's human cost rises, so do allegations of what many in Russia now call the Black Widow scam. One such instance came to light when 37-year-old Maria was told by the Russian military that her 59-year-old father, Yuri, had been shot on the front lines of the war in Ukraine and later died from his wounds. She was devastated, but the grief quickly turned into disbelief. Maria says she never even knew her father had enlisted in the Russian army. Even more shocking, she was informed that just 2 days before being deployed, he had married a woman she had never met or even heard him mention. The marriage made the woman Yuri's legal next of kin, giving her the right to receive official military compensation following his death.
I've never even spoken to this woman. I don't know what to say to her, because I immediately suspected it was a scam.
Under Russian law, the families of soldiers killed in combat receive compensation beginning at 5 million rubles, intended to support loved ones after their loss. But growing numbers of cases have sparked concern that these payments are being exploited by so-called black widows, women accused of entering sham marriages with vulnerable recruits before they are sent to the front, then claiming compensation if they are killed. In recent months, Russia has seen several high-profile allegations involving such marriages. One widely reported case involved a military hospital nurse accused of marrying 5 wounded soldiers under her care before they died, allegedly to collect their death benefits. The issue has generated increasing public anger as the war continues to take its toll on Russian society. Prominent Russian lawmaker Leonid Slutsky said the families of soldiers needed protection from these scams.
The families of special military operation participants need protection from brazen criminals, from so-called black widows, from financial and telephone scammers and predators who target those who have received monetary payouts. Such crimes were now reaching serious proportions.
After Russia launched its full-scale invasion of Ukraine in February 2022, authorities encouraged recruits to marry by simplifying the process and promoting mass wedding ceremonies. The campaign aligned with President Vladimir Putin's emphasis on traditional family values amid Russia's demographic decline. However, critics say the system has created opportunities for abuse. In another controversial case, a Russian soldier married a woman just 10 days after meeting her online before returning to the front. Although he later sought a divorce, he was killed before the paperwork was completed, leaving his wife as the legal recipient of the compensation. Her status was eventually overturned by the courts after a lengthy legal battle. Russian media have also reported investigations into alleged schemes involving members of the security forces who were accused of recruiting vulnerable men, arranging marriages, and then sending them to dangerous frontline positions in exchange for a share of the compensation if they were killed. Back in St. Petersburg, Maria says her father's apartment has since been sold, and she believes he was also deceived out of his home. Today, she says she has nothing left to remember him by, except a set of keys that no longer opens the door. A painful reminder of a loss she believes was made even worse by betrayal. Russia is witnessing a significant overhaul in its education system, with growing numbers of teenagers choosing vocational colleges over completing the final 2 years of secondary school. According to Russia's Higher School of Economics 2022, the first year of Moscow's full-scale invasion of Ukraine marked the first time that more than half of all 9th grade students 50.4%, opted for vocational colleges instead of continuing into 10th grade. The share has continued to rise ever since. The BBC's Russian service reports that Russian authorities are actively encouraging this trend. In Moscow, students applying to vocational colleges after 9th grade are now required to sit only 2 examinations on the OGE, the standardized test taken at the end of 9th grade instead of the usual 4. They only take Russian language and mathematics. Senior officials, including Moscow Mayor Sergei Sobyanin, State Duma Speaker Vyacheslav Volodin, and the Labour Ministry, have all publicly highlighted the country's growing demand for blue-collar workers. Schools are also increasingly steering pupils towards vocational education, while for the first time in 2026, Russia's social media platform VKontakte reportedly carried more posts promoting colleges than universities. Students can still enter university after completing vocational college, but the BBC says that route has become more difficult. Since 2025, college graduates are allowed to bypass Russia's unified state exam only if they apply for a university course closely related to their vocational qualification. Unlike secondary schools, vocational colleges do not specifically prepare students for the entrance examination. For young men, the decision may carry another consequence. Russia allows only one educational deferment from compulsory military service after secondary school. Students who use that deferment while attending vocational college cannot use it again later, meaning graduates may still be drafted, and, according to the BBC, conscripts are often pressured into signing contracts with the Defence Ministry. Meanwhile, many schools are reducing places in the 10th and 11th grades. Under education reforms introduced in 2022, schools must create specialised classes focused on particular subjects. However, many schools reportedly lack the teachers and resources to offer multiple specialist tracks. As a result, some students are left without their preferred subjects and choose or are forced to leave after 9th grade.
We selected the students for the specialised classes, and then the parents started stomping their feet and saying, "We'll go to the prosecutor's office." And the school is forced to take the kids. We ended up with bloated classes. 2/3 of the kids aren't ready for the track, and the kids who want to learn are the ones who suffer. In the end, it's impossible to work, impossible to provide a decent level of education.
Although Russian law guarantees every child access to a full secondary education, families facing these obstacles are increasingly turning to homeschooling and private online schools. As Russia reshapes its education system, what is presented as a solution to labour shortages is also raising broader questions about equal access to higher education, educational choice, and the long-term consequences for a generation coming of age during wartime.